Right-wing commentators are losing their minds and fighting each other over Donald Trump. So first here, you're going to listen to Hannity. Hannity goes after Beck. And then Mark Levin chimes in at the end and gives his take on the whole hashtag Never Trump movement. Let's listen.
So here's what I say to all of you Never Trumpers. Glenn Beck, I hope you're listening. You own Hillary Clinton's Supreme Court appointments. You own it. You are doing everything you can do to cast doubt in people's minds. Trump gave us a list. You own her Supreme Court nominees. You own the unvetted refugees and the 550% increase you will bring into this country. You own the jobs that illegal immigrants will take from the 95 million Americans out of the labor force. You own Obamacare, which is a disaster for this country. You own education because she's beholden to the NEA. And if we don't improve the lives of 95 million Americans out of the labor force, I blame you for that too, because you're helping elect her. And I'm also saying that, hey, we have a $4,100 increase in health care payments since Obama's been president. It's only going to go higher. You get responsibility for that too. We've got 12 million more Americans on food stamps. If that increases, I'm going to blame you.
If only the Never Trumpers, if only Jonah Goldberg and Bill Kristol and Glenn Beck and this one and that one, if only they'd get behind Trump, then we'd be winning. We'd win big time. Oh, yes. No, we wouldn't. As popular as many of those men and women are, they're not going to sway anybody one way or another. This is a presidential election. People make up their own minds. I can encourage you or others to do one thing or another. In the end, you're going to make up your own mind, which is exactly Ted Cruz's point. You're going to vote your conscience. You're going to decide yourself. That's a statement of fact. Railing on and on, positioning yourself. I will announce, I said, after Labor Day, my vote with respect to Trump. I will announce it. But I'm not a Pollyanna. I'm not a Pollyanna. The fact of the matter is, maybe Trump will win. Maybe Hillary will be stopped. But we nominated the wrong person.
Mark Levin.
Oh, the radio guys are so goofy. Mark Levin. Drama. Okay. I would have sympathy for the Never Trump people if it wasn't the case that every single one of them fervently supports Ted Cruz. So, I've said it from the beginning, Donald Trump is a hideous fascist buffoon, but Ted Cruz is worse, because not only does he have all of Donald Trump's downsides, on top of all of it, he wants to basically set up the Christian Saudi Arabia and have us live in a theocracy. He's smarmy, he's fake, he's a liar. Trump is all those things too, in his own right, in a different way. He's got the fake straight shooter thing going on. You know, Cruz kind of wears his used car salesman-ness on his sleeve. But they're the same in that respect. The only difference is Cruz wants to sprinkle on top of it Christian theocracy. So he is worse. So all these guys who are like, you know, I'm Mark Levin, and I'm so principled, and I'm a real conservative, so Ted Cruz better, we nominated the wrong person. And the hilarious thing is, like, these guys really think, whether it's Glenn Beck or Mark Levin, if we had only nominated Ted Cruz, well, then we'd beat Hillary in a landslide. No, not even close. In fact, of all of the different Republican contenders, Trump had and has the best shot, even though he's still down today, down about 5 points in the most recent polls nationally to Hillary Clinton. But he's keeping it close in some swing states. Ohio's one example. But yeah, no, Ted Cruz would be blown out way more than Donald Trump. Way more. Because Ted Cruz is like Rick Santorum. That's what he is. He's this election cycle's Rick Santorum, even though Rick Santorum ran in this election too. Weird. But he's like Mike Huckabee or Rick Santorum, just way too creepy, religious, and smarmy, and fake, and, you know, a down-the-line far right-winger. That's going to play over worse than Trump. As much shit as Trump gets, Trump, at least he keeps hammering TPP. I don't think he's actually against it, because his actions show he's outsourced his own goddamn jobs. But at least he keeps hammering it in his rhetoric, and he says, I'm not going to cut Social Security. Fucking Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz were out there like, yeah, we need to cut Social Security. Now vote for us. Nobody's going to want to fucking vote for you. Even the right-wing base is like, no, I like my Social Security, asshole. But these guys, like Glenn Beck and Mark Levin, they're like, we should have went with Cruz. I like how my Mark Levin impression and my Ted Cruz impression is very similar. They both sound like whiny little punk bitches. I'm Ted Cruz, me. I'm Mark Levin. I'm so intellectual. My really weird voice proves it. No, it doesn't. And to Sean Hannity, so I'm going after Beck and Levin here, but I'm not letting Hannity off the hook, because Hannity is such a fucking dense moron that he seriously does not get that with Hillary Clinton, you're getting a fairly conservative president. In fact, as far as Democrats go, you're almost as right-wing as you can get in the party. Now, some people go, oh, come on. Well, look, maybe Evan Bayh's an example, or some of the Blue Dog Democrats. Okay, they're more right-wing. Joe Manchin. And that's a fair point. So there are a few who are to her right. But, dude, she voted for the Iraq War. You love the Iraq War. If I'm not mistaken, I think you masturbated to the Iraq War live on air. Okay, that's not true, but I could imagine it being true, which is a gross thought. He pushed for the Iraq War nonstop. The Patriot Act. You went on a crusade against all people who were against the Patriot Act, saying they want a tax against America, and the Patriot Act is the only way to keep us safe, and if you support the Patriot Act, you're a patriot. If you don't, you hate America. These are arguments that Hannity made on a regular basis. Well, Hillary was with you. She voted for the Patriot Act. Hillary, of course, supported NAFTA. She supported deregulation. These are all right-wing policy ideas, free market ideas. You used to cheerlead this shit nonstop. You scoffed at protectionism. You scoffed at regulating Wall Street and regulating industry in the country. So Hillary was with you on that. She was for intervention in Libya and Syria. Again, you were the biggest hawk in the world when Bush was in office. There wasn't an intervention on the planet you didn't want to do. But now, all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to pretend like Hillary is so wild and so out there and so liberal and so bad. Well, she's only bad if you're bad, dipshit, because on so many main issues, she agreed with you. But that's the thing with Hannity. It's similar like with the story we did with Limbaugh the other day. It's not about substance with these guys. It never was about the policy specifics. They play for a team. So Hannity, Team Trump. It's just what he is. Rush Limbaugh, Team Trump. It's just what he is. Contradictions, I don't give a fuck about contradictions. I might contradict myself on a daily basis. I don't give a fuck. I'm pro-Trump no matter what he's for. If he changes his mind, I change my mind. How about that? And you have Beck and Levin and the rest of them. They're Team Cruz. And it's ride or die Team Cruz. So there's no criticism of their dear leader. And this is where some people would do a false equivalence and say, well, you guys were like that with Bernie. No, not true at all. In fact, I could tell you multiple areas where I disagree with Bernie. For fuck's sake, he did apologetics for the drone program. Okay, there's one. I disagree with Bernie on drones. There you go. How about he never mentioned a word about legalizing all drugs. He only spoke about marijuana. I disagree with him on that. I would legalize all drugs. Legalize, tax, and regulate all drugs. Gambling. Never heard him utter a peep about, legalizing gambling. That's something I would do. Legalizing sex work and prostitution. That's something I would do. The list goes on and on. I can point to a million areas where I disagree with Bernie Sanders, and I'm willing to talk about that. These guys, forget it. Trying to find Hannity disagreeing with Trump? Good luck. Trying to find Beck disagreeing with Cruz? Good luck. Not going to happen. So it is glorious watching these right-wingers melt down trying to defend their daddies.